Hi friends, thanks for joining us again and welcome back to another edition of Leisure Cooking at Home with Barry. In this episode, we're going to continue our soul food series. This time we're going to be doing Southern black-eyed peas. If you've had a chance to check out my collard greens video, it's very similar here with the black-eyed peas in that this dish is also one of the Southern comfort foods, or what we consider one of the many soul food dishes found in the Deep South and elsewhere. And today I hope to show you a basic recipe that'll allow you to cook your own black-eyed peas in the future. As always, please remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and give us a like and a thumbs up. Give us a comment or a question. I love reading your comments, and please remember to share with your family and friends. All right, let's get started with this episode of Leisure Cooking at Home with Barry. We're going to start out with a 1-pound package of dry black-eyed peas. And I'm going to be using pork ham hocks as our base seasoning for the black-eyed peas today. We're also going to use a medium onion. You can either slice or dice those to your liking. The main seasonings are going to be salt, pepper to taste, and chicken bouillon for flavoring. I like using the Knorr chicken bouillon flavoring because it's powdered and allows you to control the amount of flavoring you use. You can also use chicken broth, but as you'll see in the video, there's a lot of boiling involved and the chicken broth will evaporate, whereas the powder will allow for less waste. Alright, so when preparing my peas, I generally take the dry peas and place them in a bowl. And then I'll take enough water to cover the top of the peas, at least by a ½ inch. And I'll let the peas sit overnight so that they can absorb all of the water. Now this process can also be done in a span of 4 to 6 hours if you don't have the time to do it overnight. After I put the peas to the side, I then start preparing my ham hocks, or any type of smoked meat that I'm going to use. Could be turkey wings, could be turkey legs, but in this case I'm using ham hocks. I used about 8 cups of water, or enough to cover the smoked meat that I'm using. Once I add the water for the smoked meat, I start adding my seasonings. I start with my salt, then I add my pepper. We're talking about a teaspoon at the most for each of these. And as you can see, I used a teaspoon of the powdered Knorr chicken bouillon. You want to give that a quick stir to mix all those seasonings together. Then you want to bring everything to a good rolling boil. As you can see here, I have a really good boil going. As you can see, the reduction process has started. The seasoned broth that we started with is just a little less than where it was in the beginning. This is why I like using the powdered chicken bouillon flavoring as opposed to the chicken broth, because you're gonna reduce all of that broth, losing the broth that you poured in there. So with the chicken bouillon, you can actually add as much as you need without wasting a whole can or a carton of chicken broth. At this point, you can see our seasoned broth has been reduced significantly. Also, you can see that the ham in the ham hocks has started to become pretty tender. I'd say it's probably only cooked about 3/4 of the way through, but that's okay because once we add our peas, the cooking process will continue. So just go ahead, add your peas, and make sure that they're thoroughly mixed in with the seasoned broth and the ham hocks. Then you're going to add about 4 cups of water, or at least enough to cover the peas and the ham hocks. or whatever type of smoked meat you're using. Once you've added your water, you'll want to mix everything together really well. And you'll also add your sliced onions, or diced if you prefer, at this point as well. Well, at this point, you're almost done. You can see that the peas, the ham hocks, the onions, the flavored broth have all blended together. We're simmering at a medium-high heat. And because that cooking process continued, you can also see that the ham hocks that I used have gotten even more tender. Also, in terms of how long you want to simmer at this point depends on the type of heat you're using, whether it's a heating element, a regular stove, or a gas stove. It just depends on that type of heat. Also, the type of smoked meat that you're using. All right, so let's get ready to plate our dish. As in previous videos, you'll notice that I always use rice. I love eating my food and soul food with rice, but you don't have to. You can eat it without rice as well. But just take a look at this. All of those peas and onions and the ham hocks all blended together. I've used partially garnished, that's the green parsley flakes that you see there on the dish. The ham hocks cooked down really well. And the peas are nice and tender. You also want to taste along the way. You don't want crunchy peas. You want them to have a smooth texture as well. All right, that's it. That's my basic recipe for Southern black-eyed peas. As I've said before, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Give us a like or a thumbs up, and send us some comments and questions. I love answering those. And please share with your family and friends. Well, that's it for this episode of Leisure Cooking at Home with Barry. See you next time.